Everyone, so if you're kind of stuck with your voice and you don't really know where to take it to the next step, I want to show you a very quick tip to kind of sing better instantly. So there's kind of two concepts I want to play with today. The first one is compression, which is just talking about how much the chords are kind of coming together, how firmly they're coming together. And the second one is talking about the kind of different sounds we can make with our voice. And largely speaking, I've got three sounds that we've got. We've got something that's a bit more kind of front and nasally, something that's a bit more in the back of the throat, and something in the middle. So essentially, I want you to try this. So when you're singing, the first kind of key ingredient is to make sure the chords are just coming together. So here's what I want you to try. Puff out your cheeks like this, and then I want you to blow out a tiny bit of air through that. You should feel kind of a bit of an expansion around that kind of midline, around your kind of top two abs. And finally, see if you can add a sound to it. Now, once you get that, see if you can apply it to a scale. Just like that. So the second part of this is once you found that kind of compression, we kind of need to play with finding a more of a balanced tone, because as singers, especially when we're starting to sing, we often kind of find the extremes. We either go too bright and too kind of twangy, or we go too far and dull in the back of our throat. So I'm going to quickly show you the differences, and I want to see if you can pick it up. So this is the kind of really front, that kind of really nasty whiny sound. Now, there's a time and place for that, right? That actually encourages the chords to come together, that kind of compression we were doing previously. But it's too bright, it's too kind of whiny. And we've also got this other sound, which is not also that cool either. Oh. And that one, personally, I actually don't like. That one sounds too dopey, it sounds too kind of dull, and it frankly doesn't actually sound that good. So how do we find that spot in the middle? Usually, more often than not, it's to do with the positioning of your tongue. When I was going for that first one, my tongue is quite forward, it's quite fronted, versus the second one, which is quite further back. So similar to how a fronted tongue can bring on that kind of really bright twangy sound, it can also, if you pull back too far, create the and some teachers out there might actually advocate for that to bring your larynx down. I don't believe in that. Personally, I think what we should do is to find that kind of neutral tongue position, something that's in the middle, slightly raised higher, so it's not in our throat. So one thing you can do, I want you to say the NG, but see if you can get that spot where your tongue touches the roof of your mouth, get it closer towards the spot where your hard palate and your soft palate meets, where that kind of soft fleshy part of your roof of your mouth meets that hard part. So that feels pretty centered for me. It's not so that's more of a balanced tone for me. Now then, all you need to do, drop the tongue down. You drop it down and you get an R vowel. And so that's how I tend to get my singers to find more of a balanced tone. So what you can do is you can combine this with the first exercise, the puffy cheeks, but making sure that the tongue, that spot where your tongue is in that similar position we just found. Because it can either be, which is that kind of front kind of whiny sound, or it could be, which is that sound in the throat. And that's also not what we're after. So see if you can find that one in the middle. And see if you can change pitches without losing that position. So this is going to be a really kind of awesome first step for finding the compression. And number two, finding that kind of balanced tone. Because all of a sudden when we start singing songs, Instead of going, fly me to the moon, which is kind of that fronted sound, or fly me to the moon, which tends to be the problem for a lot of people starting off. We can maybe find something in the middle. Fly me to the moon. See where we're going? So I want you to practice with that. So step number one, see if you can just build some proper compression in first. Puff out your cheeks, see if you can get a clear, firm sound. Once you get that, see if you can play around with that tongue positioning, mainly that tongue positioning, just to see if you can find that balanced tone. Not too bright, not too dull. Right in the middle, right in the middle. That's what we're after. So if you're starting off, I hope this helps you. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful or not. I'll see you guys next time.